All right. Sixth period. Here is your video. We're going to get through the first two problems with the law of cosines. Okay, so if you can see up here on your picture, law of cosines, they make it look like there's three different formulas. Okay, but what really this is one formula just rearranged three different ways. So you got side A squared equals side B squared plus side C squared minus 2 times B times C times the cosine of angle A. And what you're going to have here is you're either going to have all three sides and you're going to be missing an angle, in which case if you're missing an angle, whatever angle you're missing, its partner side is the one that goes over here. Okay, whichever angle you want to find, its partner side goes over here. Or you're going to have a side angle side situation. So at first was side, 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 and we wanted angle A, so side A is the one that's by itself. Or another situation you could have is side angle side, and then the third side that you're trying to find is the side that's by itself. These are the two sides that you have, and that angle is going to be the angle that's between the two sides that you have. Okay? It sounds confusing. It's not. All right? We'll do one, and we'll see how, it's not that bad. Okay? So our first one. Solve each triangle, round lengths to the nearest tenth, and angles to the nearest full degree. So we have side 3, 92 degrees, side 4. All right, so we have a side angle side, two sides, and the angle that's directly between them. Okay, so this is a side angle side situation. It says to solve the triangle. Okay, previously, solving the triangle, we know that means I got to find all the missing pieces. So those two angles and this side. And we would have used the law of sines. Okay, but I don't have any matching partners. I have this side, but I don't have its angle. I have this side, but I don't have this angle. And then I have this angle, but I don't have its side. So I need to find this side using the law of cosines, and then I'll be set up to do a law of sines problem. Okay, so this is the side I want, so that's the one that's by itself, b squared equals, okay, the other two sides then, 3 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times those sides, 3 times 4, times the cosine of the angle between them, cosine 92 degrees. Okay, so these types of problems aren't that bad because you can just type it all in. I can just type it all in. So we have 3 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 3 times 4 times cosine 92. Okay, 25 point, we'll call it 84. All right, 25.84, square root, and side B, second square root, second answer, is 5 point, to the nearest tenth is 5.1. Okay, think about this for a little bit. Make sure this makes sense. 92 degrees is pretty close to 90, which would have been a right triangle. And in a right triangle, it's 3, 4, Pythagorean triple, 3, 4, 5. So because this is just a touch bigger than 90, this makes sense that this is just a touch bigger than 5. So that's the law of cosines. You just used the law of cosines to find the missing side. 5.1. Okay, now to solve for the rest, we can switch back over to the law of sines. Okay, so let's go in reverse order. So we just found this side, that's the biggest angle. Let's go with the next biggest angle. So 4 is bigger than 3, which means A is going to be bigger than C. So let's solve for A. I don't think it matters in this situation, but it does in the next one, so it's a good practice to get into going in reverse order, biggest to smallest. So we're going to find A. Sine A, we're switching gears, law of sines now. When you do law of cosines, you're probably only going to have to do it once, and then switch over to law of sines once, and then like one other little formula maybe. Sine of A over 4 equals sine of 92 over 5.1. Okay, we're going to multiply by 4. Sine of A, and this is going to be a decimal. 4 times sine 92 divided by 5.1. Okay, 0.7838. And you know what to do there. We're going to sine inverse. And A is second sine, second answer, 51.6. 51.61, and that's going to round to the nearest degree is going to be 52 degrees. And then we can get angle C by triangle subtraction there. We got C equals 180 minus the 92 minus 52. Angle C is 36. And we've finished out our triangle. All right. Onward. Next, we have a side situation. Okay, we have all three sides. Side situation. So we're going to need to use law of cosines to get the angle. To get one angle. All right, and we want to start with the biggest one. Go in reverse order. Start with biggest one. Biggest angle. How do I know which one's the biggest angle? Back to geometry. Biggest angle is across from the biggest side. So 20 is the biggest side, which means this is the biggest angle. Okay, these aren't labeled, so you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call this one angle C. Okay, so if this is the biggest angle, or the angle that I'm talking about, okay, this is the side that's by itself. Okay, look back to our other one. We wanted to know this side, this angle was the one that was over here. So, and that's the angle that's across from it. Okay, so whatever angle you're using, the side across from it is the one that's by itself. Whatever side you're solving for, that's the angle that's across from it is the angle that you use. So if I'm solving for angle C, then 20 is the side that's by itself. So 20 squared equals, okay, the other two sides squared and added together, minus 2 times those two sides, 10 times 14, times cosine, and I just called it C. You could have called it whatever. Okay? So, the first time right now when we're doing this, I'm going to go through it super slow and then give you the answer. And then at the end, I'll show you what I would have done on like a quiz or a test if I was doing this problem on my own, like homework. Okay? Super slow motion here. 20 squared is 400. 10 squared is 100. 14 squared is 196. So 10 squared plus 14 squared equals 296. Okay, and this is multiplication. 2 times 10 times 14. So 20 times 14, this is going to be minus 280 cosine of C. The most likely mistake that you would make is right here. And All right, a lot of people, common mistake, 296 minus 280 cosine C. People are going to try to simplify that to 16 cosine C, and you can't. This cosine C is an unknown amount. It's a variable. It's just like x. You can't combine regular numbers with numbers that are attached to x. Okay? I can't do 3 plus 4x and put it together and call it 7x. So I can't do this. This has a variable attached to it, so I can't combine it with anything unless it has the exact same variable attached to it. Okay? So if I can't combine these, let's start moving this over. Minus 296. So this is a 104, negative 280, cosine C. Then we'll divide by the negative 280. Okay, 104 divided by negative 280, it's about negative 0.3714. Okay, and I want to know what the angle is. I'm going to do cosine inverse. All right, and I'll show you here this last couple steps. Okay, so last couple steps on the calculator, 104 divided by negative 280. Okay, I just rounded that off just for this answer right here in my work, but in like real life, or if I was really doing this, I'm not going to round it and type that in. When I go to do cosine inverse, I'm doing second cosine, second answer. I'm still using all of that. 111.8 to the nearest degree is going to be 112. degrees. So that is super slow motion showing every step along the way. Okay, how would I personally do this? And if this makes sense to you, you can go ahead. So I would write down that first bit right there. Okay? And I'm going to do 20 squared on the calculator. 20 squared, enter. Okay? The next two pieces, 10 squared and 14 squared, are addition. So how do you undo addition with subtraction? Minus 10 squared minus 14 squared. Enter. 104. That should look familiar. That's what we had. Okay, now I'm up to here. These are all multiplications. Negative 2 times 10 times 14 times cosine. Those are all multiplications. So how do you undo multiplications? Division. Divide by that whole group. Divide by parentheses. You have to use parentheses. Divide by that whole group, parentheses, negative 2 times 10 times 14. Okay, and that's the same decimal I had. All right, and then now do the cosine inverse. Second cosine, second answer. Ta-da, there it is. So I just start here, 20 squared, 400. Minus that, enter. Divide by all those, enter, cosine inverse. And I just keep kind of sliding along the line and taking care of them one at a time. And I did it all right here in the calculator. 4 things, done. Okay? So we did the law of cosines once. Okay? We have 112 degrees in this corner. All right, now law of sines once. Go in reverse order, so biggest. So the next biggest one would be this corner. And again, call it whatever you want. I'm just going to choose to call it B. So we got sine of B over 14 is the side across from it, equals, I got to use this one. That's the only matching set that I have. Sine of 112 over 20. Okay, we know what to do with this. Law of sines, we've done plenty of it. So multiply both sides by 14. Times sine of 112, divide by 20. Okay, we got that decimal. Second sine, sine inverse of that answer. 40.46 is actually going to round down to 40 degrees. 40 degrees for angle B. Put that back up there. Okay, a little triangle subtraction, 180 in the triangle minus 112 minus 40 leaves us with 28 degrees for angle A. So both types of problems, we had to do the law of cosines once. We did the law of cosines once, we got a side, and then we were able to do the law of sines once, and then we subtracted from 180 degrees to get our third angle. Here we had to do the law of cosines once to get an angle. We did law of sines to get the second angle, and then we subtracted to get the third angle. Okay, so pretty easy problems. All right. Homework assignment. Okay, again, trying to keep them small. This is going to be shorter than what is posted on your homework slip. Trying to keep them to a minimal amount of problems, but still get some practice in. And I'm liking the odds because then it's I don't have to worry about getting a answer key posted because their odds are in the back of the book. Okay. 9 to 15 odds. So that's 9, 11, 13, 15. That's 4 problems, okay? And then tomorrow we might look at one of these down here, and then we're going to move on to the back page of deciding whether we need to use law of sines or law of cosines. All right? There you guys go. Let me know if you have any questions.